So this is one of the most interesting Black Mirror episodes, episode 2, season 7. And again, spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch this yet. Yet, watch that, then come back. Um, because we have seen lots of technological plots where people are using technology, and this is that, but it's almost like another level up, where you've got someone who has made something, quantum computing, subatomic kind of thing, and they're able to create their own reality basically. It's not a virtual reality. It's where they have the computers, whatever in their apartment. She has it. Great actress, by the way. And so she's able to talk to it essentially and dictate what she wants, but also to go back and change time, like the scene where at the end where um, she and her rival are in the kitchen at work, and she drinks the almond milk. But then when they're yelling at each other, and the manager says, "Well, let's go look at the tape," and then she's able to speak into the thing, the pendant on her necklace, and have it be the other person drinking the milk. It's a really, really creative story being told here, because it's game over, right? Like the other ones where people are reliant on their Uber rating to survive, or you're ordering a version of a loved one who passed away. Those are all really powerful. But this is like another level of someone being able to create a reality as they go. It's very Twilight Zone-ish in a way, where someone who gets all the power in their world for revengeful purposes. Again, it doesn't matter why she created it. I mean, it does matter, but having the power is what matters. And so once the power is created, it's pretty much all over. Now, for time travel, I think there are a couple theories about time travel in terms of like how it affects present day. So, for example, time travel doesn't seem to be in existence at the moment, right? But if it's invented in the future, hasn't it always been around? Shouldn't there be travelers around us? Because if it gets invented 600 years from now or 6 million years from now, couldn't they go back to this year and then they're interacting with us? I don't know whose theory that is, but that's the way my brain naturally works, is like if it gets invented, then it's always been invented. But there's another theory, and I don't know where this comes from. I mean, probably from Reddit, from me. But the idea is that it can only go back to the point at which it's invented. So if it's invented in the year 2543, it can't go back prior to that date, so that because otherwise it would mess with the whole timeline of history, which doesn't mean it's not going to mess with the timeline after 2543 in this example. But you take my point. But I don't know how this works with what we're seeing in Bête Noire, where this woman creates this quantum computer that can help her train. Literally, she's like, "Watch this! I'll turn your shirt green. Put on a green shirt or whatever." And she's wearing the shirt, and it's happening in real time. It's not virtual reality. So I don't know how, when someone invents that, how it works in the same way. If there are any quantum physicists out there watching this channel, which I would bet there's 0% chance you are. But if you are on YouTube and you do happen to be watching this, put it below. I'd like to know how that works. If somebody just can all of a sudden invent a machine where they can create new realities, or cross over from other realities. The theory about how every decision you make there's an alternate reality created. Like, I decided to wear this blue shirt. Well, there's a reality where I wore a different shirt and a different shirt and a different shirt and a different shirt, and so on. So I don't know if she's able to tap into that, and that gives her the ability to wish for anything she wants. I'm not sure. But the point is, if anybody invents this, we're fucked. Likewise, what if somebody invents a black hole? And you could argue that that's already being attempted at the Large Hadron Collider in CERN, Switzerland. I don't remember voting for that. They're trying to get these things to go in a circle. They're trying to recreate, I believe, some of the settings for the origins of the universe, like the Big Bang Theory. They're trying to recreate something about it so that they can try and learn from it and understand from it. Or like Wuhan, COVID, studying COVID virus, like just to get an idea. So it feels like a little bit like that. Like, well, what happens if you create? I mean, the percentage of chance for them to have in CERN, Switzerland, or Bern, or wherever it is, the Hadron Collider, the likelihood of them creating a black hole that could destroy everything isn't 0%. You can look it up. I could be wrong. Somebody double check me on that. But I'm pretty sure it's not 0%. So if it's not 0%, I feel like it's something we should all get to vote on. And I don't care what country you're from or what, if you work at Burger King or you're the president of Zimbabwe, like everybody should have a vote on this, right? So what happens when we start to get to the point with technology where, you know, it's not just you in your room drinking yourself to death. You're now drinking on the road, driving around, affecting other people, shooting your firearms out the window. I might add for the sort of the equivalency here, because if somebody ever invents something where they could actually change things on a quantum level, and again, I'm not a physicist. I don't know if I'm misusing these terms, but if you're able to shape reality in a different way through your own experiments and your own technology, what hope do we have to stop someone like that? I mean, don't you get the impression that the people who are in governments everywhere, like, think it's a series of tubes, the internet still? Like, they're still on incandescent light bulb babies, you know, like they're like almost like using kerosene lamps. It seems like they don't understand. They just came around to, you know, certain things about basic forms of internet knowledge in the year 2025 in terms of like taxation or what to do about like cyberbullying. And like, what chance do we have that someone who's that far advanced is going to be able to be put into check by people who don't know what the fuck is going on and don't understand this? I don't understand it either. But it's not my job to understand it and to prevent people from doing stuff like this. I don't think there are any guardrails, is what I'm trying to say. And I know that Charlie Brooker, I don't think he created this series to sort of give us an idea of what could happen so that maybe we stop it from happening. I think he's probably touching on that a little bit. I get the impression that he finds it fascinating and that, you know, he's making this because it's a compelling topic. It's so relevant. But I think he's just kind of putting the question out there, you know, and it's maybe up to the rest of us to have a discussion about what this all means. And so I don't really know how much faith I have that someone's not going to have an apartment with this monster. Maybe it's not a quantum computing thing where they can change reality, but what if they can recreate a black hole themselves that could destroy the whole world, and it's all of a sudden starts sucking in that apartment and then the building and then the city and then the state, country, you know, whatever. You know, it's too late at that point. So I don't know. This is the second episode of season 7 and it's another banger. I don't know if I want to go on because I can tell that this is going to be a great season and that it's going to get scarier. There'll probably be they'll throw in a few fun ones in there. I think they usually do, but I don't really know if that's the point of these. You know, I don't know if I need Charlie Brooker or Black Mirror to give me a rom-com wrap-up at a certain point of like, well, it's all going to be fine. Yeah, it might. Or you're pointing out something that needs to be pointed out. So, I don't know. I would give this episode, just because of the power of what's happening and the creepiness at the beginning of the girl, and you're just watching her thinking like, what does she know? The blonde girl who's able to do who did this quantum computing in her apartment, like she knows something, and like there's something creepy going on with her, but like I don't know where this story is going. And then to figure out, holy shit, she's not just, she's like a witch, basically. That's what they are, right? The people like that, like whether it's her or someone who works for like a big physicists corporation, or they do that kind of research. Like, they're like fucking wizards. That's what they are, right? They're creating things that are making real world devices and activity. I don't know, I hesitate to say the word better. In some cases it's better, but very, very different and advanced. So it's just done from a perspective of like just cinematic storytelling. It's fantastic watch for sure, because the actors are great and they're doing a great job. But underneath all that is just a disturbing trend of where is this going, and I just can't seem to shake that. So I'd be interested to know where you're at, how you think about the first 2 episodes of season 7, and if it's blowing your mind.